We've already established that effective goals motivate and inspire us, that they increase our success rate and help us focus on what we want to accomplish and thus reduce frustration. But how do we set effective goals? An effective goal setting tool that I use to teach my patients and those that go through my courses is called the SMART checklist. SMART is an acronym that spells out specific, measurable, audacious, realistic, and time-bound/trackable goals. Your weight loss goals, regardless of what you choose them to become, I recommend that they should be a combination of process and outcome goals that meet the criteria of the SMART checklist. Again, the first letter stands for specific. An effective goal must be specific. For example, if you have a goal that says, I'll exercise weekly, that goal is vague and not specific. On the contrary, if you say, I will ride my bike for 30 minutes, 5 days per week, then that's a specific goal. When you set specific goals, you'll realize that they answer the question what, when, and how of what you want to do. The next letter in the word SMART is M. M stands for measurable. Your goal must be measurable. If you cannot measure your goal, you wouldn't be able to objectively determine if you've succeeded or not. A goal that says, I will be a better eater or I will run more is difficult to measure. But saying I will run 1 mile daily or I'll eat 1,200 calories or less per day can be measured. That kind of goal is easy to measure. An important reason why your goals must be measurable is that measurable goals allow you to assess yourself regularly as to how you're moving towards your goal. The next letter is audacious or challenging. Small goals don't motivate people. Small goals don't inspire us. Instead of setting small goals, we should set challenging goals, goals that are audacious. But I often caution the people I coach, don't just go for setting audacious and challenging goals. Also take note to make sure that your goals are attainable. And that takes us to the next letter. R stands for realistic. While you should have an audacious goal, like I've just said, it also must be realistic. For example, a realistic outcome goal for a lot of people who are trying to lose weight would be 5 to 10% of their current weight. Now, after they've accomplished that, they could set another goal and move forward and do more. But to say, for example, that you want to lose 20 pounds per week for 12 weeks is very unrealistic. When you are looking at your goals, your process goals must be realistic as well as your outcome goals. Both process and outcome goals must be realistic. The next letter is T, which stands for trackable and time-bound. First, time-bound goals have a deadline. You want to say, I want to lose 50 pounds in 1 year. You just don't want to say, I want to lose 50 pounds, period, because you don't have a time limit. You don't have a deadline. The next thing is that you should set goals in a way that they are trackable. Keeping records of your progress is a good thing. It helps you be able to track yourself and see how you're meeting milestones that will then lead you towards accomplishing your final outcome goals. I advise my patients, when you set SMART goals, you should not stop there. The next thing is to step out in faith and pursue those goals. I see a lot of people who spend time investing in coming up with goals. They're always looking for more evidence, trying to smoothing their goals, just trying to come up with a very perfect goal and always planning, but never stepping out and doing something. Of course, we all know that the benefit actually comes when we get out and do something and persevere and persist and work ourselves to death. That's how we succeed. So after we set our goals, you should step out in faith. Believe yourself. Believe that you can actually accomplish something and give your very best. When you've stepped out in faith, and actually really before you do, I always advise that people should plan for setbacks and then evaluate yourself frequently. So plan for setbacks and evaluate yourself frequently. Remember Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. You got it. So while we hope for the best, we must plan for the worst. I advise people to stop and think. What are some of the things that can interfere with your weight loss journey? How can you take the preemptive steps to mitigate these distractions? We all have competing influences over our lives. One thing that you're going to notice is that when you start trying to make a positive change in your life, you will see that all kinds of competing negative influences and distractions start popping up. To be successful, you have to preempt. You have to think about these things and think about what can go wrong, plan for them so that when they start happening, you already have thought about them, you have a plan of how to deal with them, and that will decrease the chance of being derailed or distracted, which could cause you to lose focus on your goal. And in fact, some people end up quitting because they didn't plan for the setbacks, and when they come up, they become discouraged. And remember to evaluate yourself frequently and make improvements. Be flexible. Be flexible with your goals. Realistic goals, and so they meet them. Well, if you set up a realistic goal and you meet it, should you stop? No. You should set a new goal to take you to where you finally want to be. Well, others start up setting unrealistic goals. Well, if you find out that you've set an unrealistic goal, you should not quit. You should basically readjust yourself and then come up with a goal that is easy for you to attain. So in review, effective goals include both process or procedural goals and outcome goals. Effective goals include five key components. There are specific, there are measurable, there are audacious, there are realistic, and they are trackable or time-bound.